Welcome to this episode, starting the conversation in the Support Over Suicide series, Proactive Pathways to Prevention. A challenge in changing the condition in society is to overcome the fear of having a conversation. We have shared what a Support Over Suicide altruist stands for and how we change the condition to break the stigma cycle, but people may feel still hesitant to start the conversation. It is okay to feel apprehensive at the start. We know how difficult this can be. Our Support Over Suicide program provides the knowledge and skills to broach a caring conversation by using our core values: care, conduct, confidence, courage, and confidentiality. This short course has a testimonial from the first two Support Over Suicide altruists in America, Johnny and Hector. They share their heartfelt experience with us, so you know how important it is to start the conversation. Thank you, Johnny and Hector, and over to you.
Hello, everyone. I'm Johnny Havey.
And I'm Hector Simudis.
And we are the co-founders of E-Learning Partners. And we are here for a couple of reasons. First of all and foremost, we are big supporters of this entire program. And I mean, even if we had never encountered suicide in our lives, we would fully support this program. But sadly, just like many of you out there, we have experienced directly losing someone very close to us, one of our best friends, to suicide. So that's why we're here today to talk about a couple different subjects, starting with starting the conversation.
It could be very hard and very intimidating to bring up a conversation like this with somebody that you know and that you love, and maybe you don't know them that well, but you know that they're going, through something, and it could be very tough and intimidating as far as how are they going to take it? What are they going to say? Am I going to quote unquote trigger them into doing something that they may create harm on themselves? And we're here to tell you that starting the conversation is the right thing to do. And when people are going through a challenging time, many times deep down inside, they know that they need help and they want help, but sometimes they're scared of getting help. They're scared of judgment. They believe that they are alone many times. They're the only ones going through what they're going through, whatever may be going through their mind. And this right here, starting the conversation, does something to those individuals. And you know what it does? It shows that those individuals, that they are loved, that people do care about them. People care about who they are. They care about the amazing heart that they have. And the last thing that you want is for that person to hurt themselves in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, I personally thought that if you're talking to someone who's depressed, right? We had a very close friend of ours, was a business partner of ours in a different business. And he definitely showed signs. Now that I've taken this training, by the way, we've taken this training too, and have learned so much from this amazing training. I had no idea until I took this training that a lot of these things were signs. Like, for example, he stopped working out. When we first met him, wasn't really that into working out, was drinking a lot, which is a sign, by the way. Then he started turning things around, got really into working out, took us up 14,000 foot peaks, got us into mountain biking.
Road biking.
I got him into yoga, okay? And we were doing yoga frequently. Then all of a sudden, he stopped it all. Big red flag. For me, it seemed odd, and he was always kind of, a little depressed. He talked about being depressed a little bit, shared that he was on some meds as well. He started drinking again. These were all signs. But to me, I personally, before I took this training, thought that, well, it'd be pretty stupid, be like, hey man, you're not suicidal, are you? Because I literally thought that if I had that conversation with him, that it would implant that idea. You know, I thought that that could cause it. I think a lot of us feel that way. We're like, we don't want to go up to someone and just be like, hey, yeah, like, are you okay? Like, I know that you've shared that you're like a little depressed. Like, you're not suicidal, are you? I used to be terrified of like bringing that up with anyone who was depressed, because I personally thought, like, is that offensive? Am I going to offend them? I thought, maybe I'm going to offend them. Or worse,
trigger them.
But the reality is, and what we learn in this training is, you won't do either one of these things. You're not going to offend them. You're not going to trigger. If you offend them, who cares, by the way? Because at least you started the conversation. So, long story short, don't be afraid of bringing up the conversation. You may even be able to save someone's life by bringing up the conversation. And it's as simple as literally asking them, hey, like, are you okay? Like, are you having suicidal thoughts? And just see what they say. And just tell them that you're there for them.
And remember, bringing it up is showcasing to the other person that you are listening to them, not just what they're saying, but what they're doing, how they're presenting themselves, the words that they're speaking, the mentality that they're in, the habits that they're taking on. You know, binge drinking and drinking like crazy in society, in many societies, not all societies around the world, drinking is like a cool thing. And
it was cool in college.
Especially like, yeah, when you're college.
Or
younger,
in the pubs.
You know, how often did you, oh man, you had 40 drinks, so I had 7 shots and 40 on top. You know, like there was this societal norm of like, this is cool to do, right? The older you get, the more you realize, what the heck were you doing, right? But when it comes to somebody that you can tell, kind of like our dear friend who we love so dearly, he went from not having good habits, especially when it came to alcohol consumption, drinking specifically, to basically wiping out that habit as a whole, going on cleanses, working out like crazy. Him inspiring us to climb 14,000-foot mountains. The first 14,000-foot mountain we both climbed was with him, that he put together. And then all of a sudden just completely changed. And
it was drastic, like a drastic change. Like, didn't want, like, had no desire to climb mountains anymore, wasn't mountain biking, didn't really see him much. Then started hearing, you know, he's drinking a bunch at the house again, no more yoga, wasn't working out. It was drastic.
And on top of that, in addition to seeing some indicators from a behavior and habit perspective, is also being careful on what the person is saying, because there were a few things that he shared that, my goodness, if I could go back in time, I would have really sat him down or taken him out to coffee or lunch or something to really understand what was going on. I remember we were at a house gathering he had put together, and you know, after a couple hours, we're all hanging out, having a great time, and I'm in the kitchen with him, talking to him, and a friend of ours that was there as well, and he looked at me and, you know, he said, Hector, am I a burden on people? And the way that he said it, his eyes, his demeanor, and I remember just having a hesitation, like, burden on people? What are you talking about, burden on people? No, you're not a burden on anybody. We all love you. What are you talking about? And that was it. And if I could go back, you know, I would really been the next day I would have texted him or called and be like, hey man, let's get together. I want to talk to you about something that you said, because I want to make sure that you're okay. Starting that conversation. Especially with seeing those habits changing, and also especially since he was very open about some of the depression that he had gone through.
I'm deeply moved every time I listen to Johnny and Hector and thank them with all my heart for sharing their journey with us. I hope their support builds the confidence in you to join our cohort of Support Over Suicide altruists. Together, we can all make a difference and create a world without suicide. Please remember to like and share this short course with your family, friends and colleagues. The more people we educate with this series, the more people will be able to make real change in the community. It can help save a life or someone you know. Every conversation helps. Thank you for watching this episode of Starting the Conversation in the Support Over Suicide series, Proactive Pathways to Prevention, from Star Education.